call to order the Doylestown Borough Council meeting for Monday, February 24th. Everyone, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have a special presentation tonight. Mr. Frederick, would you like to come forward, please?
If you force me to.
Oh, hates the limelight.
Come on, Mayor. You get this. That's good. I'll stand over here and behave myself.
So, Joe, first of all, I would like to say that you will probably be the only council person who knows more about what is happening in Doylestown before 7 a.m. in the morning than any other council person. And then at 7:30, the phones for Public Works, John, zoning, and sometimes even the police start ringing. And then at 10, and then at 12, and then maybe a little bit longer. But your dedication to the borough will live long after you leave Borough Council. Thank you so much.
That's called retirement.
And so I present this plaque, although my name is on it, and I'm sure it comes from all of the borough and the council as well. Joe Frederick, in appreciation for your dedicated service as a Doylestown Borough Councilperson, representing Ward 3 from 2014 to 2025.
Thank you very much.
We thank
I
you.
appreciate that. The one thing is, John said I would get a vacation. He promised me a vacation.
Here it is.
And
This is great, but
And this is it.
you know,
You're welcome.
so much for promises.
You can pack that and take it with you, Joe.
I'm sure I can. But thanks. But thank you, everybody. It's been a pleasure. I had a great time. I enjoyed it.
Let's do our photo op. Put it down here.
Okay. Well, thank you. Just one short thing, and I was going to do it from memory, but I better not. It won't last. It won't work. It's a quote from the governor of Illinois, J.D. Pritzker, I think his name is. And the quote that I'd like to say is, and this is for everybody on council and everybody here, tyranny requires fear, silence, and compliance. Democracy requires courage. And that's it. Thank you. All right.
Next on our agenda is the approval of minutes from the January 27th council meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
Second.
A motion by Mr. Brown and a second by Ms. Popkin. Ms. Popkin, thank you. Any questions or comments from any members of council? Hearing none. Any questions or comments from any members of the public? Hearing none, I'd like to call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Madam Mayor, do you have a report for us tonight?
I have no report this evening.
Okay, thank you. Public safety, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our first order of business this evening is the consideration of ordinance number 2025-1, establishing an emergency preparedness and communications board. Attached, please find ordinance 2025-1, which establishes a 5-member volunteer board to advise council on matters of emergency preparedness and communications. The Public Safety Committee is recommending that council adopt ordinance 2025-1. If council wishes to follow the recommendation, it can do so by motion, and I so move.
Second.
We have a motion. I had a couple of seconds. I think Mr. Bell and Mr. Kinney, I think also. Any questions or comments from any members of council?
I just wanted to thank, in addition to everybody on council and the mayor for their support, it's also important that I thank Scott Fleischer, our fire marshal, for his coordination and help with this over. We've been working on this for a number of years, and it's good to get it over the hump.
I would just like to thank you, Mr. Brown, for putting this together. I think it's really important and perfect timing.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from any members of council?
Just to let everyone know that we'll be advertising for membership, so if anybody's interested, you'll see some notices on our social media in the coming days.
Any questions or comments from any members of the public? Hearing none, I'd like to call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Other than that, all we have is the fire company report, which is up on the screen. That's all I have, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Public Works Administration, you're up again.
Oh, okay, well, we didn't meet, so I don't have anything.
Okay.
Two hats.
Community and Government Affairs, Mr. Bell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have one item for council and some short announcements. So for council, in their packet, you will find the 2025 block party schedule. The Community and Government Affairs Committee has reviewed the schedule and is recommending approval. If council wishes to follow the recommendations of the committee, it can do so by motion. I so move, and we ought to vote by May 2nd because that's the first block party event. So.
Second.
We have a motion and second by Mr. Brown. Any questions or comments from any members of council? Hearing none. Any questions or comments from any members of the public? Hearing none, I'd like to call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. President. And then just two brief announcements. The borough has now announced that the nominations for the Youth Leadership Recognition Program are available, and you can find them on both the borough Facebook page and on the borough website. And Ms. Hernandez probably has it tucked away in other parts of our social media domain, but that's where I know to go. And we are accepting nominations through March 15th. And secondly, there's a meeting that's being held here on Wednesday at 7 p.m. hosted by the by the Human Relations Commission called the Community Immigration Forum. And it's a community discussion and a panel of experts talking about some of the challenges facing our immigrant community in Doylestown, Wednesday at 7 o'clock. And that is my report.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Zoning and Planning, Ms. Jarrett.
Obviously, we met this month, as we always do. So for the Borough of Doylestown Building and Zoning, first we have the Zoning Hearing Board report, which I will toss over to Ms. Highland to give us a rundown on, if you don't mind, Ms. Highland.
Thank you, Ms. Jarrett. The Zoning Hearing Board met last week. On the agenda was an application for 43 East Oakland Avenue. Right now, it is one half of a twin. The first floor is an office, and then the second two floors are a second office. The applicant is looking to convert the second and third floor into an apartment. However, there was an old Zoning Hearing Board application that included a condition restricting the use, saying that there shall not be any residential use of the property. So the applicant appeared before the Zoning Hearing Board last week to have that condition removed, and that was granted.
Right, and this leaves that building, just for the public's benefit, this leaves that building more as a mixed use as opposed to just residential.
Correct.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have the, my HARB report, the recommendations for certificates of appropriateness. At its regular monthly meeting, the Borough of Doylestown Historic and Architectural Review Board recommended the following. Building applications, 2 East Court Street for windows and exterior renovation. The HARB recommended that the application for a certificate of appropriateness be approved as submitted. Next, we had 184 West Court Street for an exterior renovation and roof. The HARB recommended that the application for a certificate of appropriateness be approved as submitted with the following conditions. 3 proposed columns will be increased to a total of 5. The proposed column abutting the building will be a pilaster column measuring approximately 8 inches. The gutter and downspout will be black, and the railing will be solid steel. Next, we have 57 East Ashland Street for a renovation and addition. The HARB recommended that the application for certificate of appropriateness be approved as submitted with the following conditions. The rear window will be 6/1. The gutters will be 6-inch half round. The applicant should consider removing and replacing the corner board with beveled siding corners. Next is 263 West Ashland Street, a roof. The HARB recommended that the application for a certificate of appropriateness be approved as submitted. The Zoning and Planning Committee recommends that council approve the applications as recommended by HARB with the following condition added. For 184 West Court Street's application, that the columns will be wood, boral, or a similar material. If the council is in agreement, the certificates can be approved by motion, and I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, I think, by Mr. Kinney.
No, it's,
Oh, I'm sorry. I was coughing.
she was first, she was first.
I won't try again.
Okay. Any questions or comments from any members of council? Hearing none. Any questions or comments from any members of the public? Hearing none, I'd like to call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Additionally, we have the code enforcement and building inspection reports in the packet. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Jarrett. Environment and Rec, Ms. Wyckoff.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just one thing to approve, hopefully. In your packet, please find the contract for the summer concert preview series by Stage United. The Environment and Recreation Committee has reviewed the proposal and is recommending approval. If council wishes to follow the recommendation, it can do so by motion, and I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, I think, by Mr. Lavrone. Any questions or comments from any members of council?
Just wondering if you might want Ms. Hernandez to kind of briefly explain the series?
Sure, no problem. We're working with Joe Montone, who is here for additional questions from Stage United. Joe has done concerts. He runs the Picnics on Pine. He works with local venues in Doylestown, and then also the Abington Art Series. He's very familiar with the music scene, so we're definitely leaning on him for his expertise there. The plan is to host 2 concerts this May, and our hope is that in subsequent years we can fill the summer with more. They'll be right here across the street at Broad Commons. And that's all I have for now.
Well, thank you. Any other questions or comments from any members of council? Hearing none. Any questions or comments from any members of the public? Hearing none, I'd like to call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wyckoff. Water Utility, Mr. Lavrone. Do you have anything for us tonight?
Well, the Water Committee did not meet in February, but I just wanted to remind everyone that we will meet in March. It's Tuesday, March 11th, 6:30 p.m. here in Borough Hall. And we'll be hearing from our water engineer, CKS engineers. I'm assuming that's still on, John, as far as we know, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good. And they'll be telling us about the plan that they're going to recommend to us for taking care of the PFAS contaminations in our wells moving forward. So it's going to be an important meeting if any of you all would like to attend. And so that's the end of my report, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lavrone. Ms. Popkin, Finance and Pension.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have 2 items for this evening. The first one is the consideration of resolution number 2025-2. This is authorizing prepayment of certain invoices, and we authorize this each year. Attached in your packet, you will find resolution 2025-2. This authorizes the prepayment of certain invoices prior to the regularly scheduled approval at each monthly council meeting. This is a housekeeping item and will update the resolution from 2024-1. During the course of the month, there is often a need to pay an invoice outside of those approved of the council meeting. An example would be a vendor invoice with an early due date or a refund. Limits are set on the maximum amount that can be approved by the borough manager. Any invoices outside of these limits would be reviewed and approved by the council president. Any and all payments paid prior to the council meeting will be detailed and approved through the prepaid invoice list that is provided with the council packets each month. The Finance and Pension Committee met on February 13th to review this item, and we are recommending that the council adopt Resolution 2025-2. If council wishes to follow the recommendation, it can do so by motion, and I so move.
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Kinney, I think it was.
It was.
Any questions or comments from any members of council? Hearing none. Any questions or comments from any members of the public? Hearing none, I'd like to call a vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item is the finance report with the bills listed, and that is in your packet. The total amount to be paid is $939,522.37, and I make a motion to move.
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Kinney again. That's correct. Any questions or comments from any members of council? Hearing none. Any questions or comments from any members of the public? Hearing none, I'd like to call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And I think that's it, correct?
Oh, thank you. That's the end of my report.
Okay. Personnel Committee, we have two items tonight. The first is the appointment of an alternate member of Central Bucks Regional Police Commission. The resignation of Joseph Frederick has left vacant the borough's Central Bucks Regional Police Commission alternate position. The Personnel Committee met on February 13th, 2025, to discuss the vacancy and is recommending the appointment of Amy Popkin to the position. If council wishes to follow the recommendation, it can do so by motion, and I so move.
Second.
We have a second by Ms. Jarrett. By Ms. Jarrett. Any questions or comments from any members of council? Hearing none. Any questions or comments from any members of the public? Hearing none, I'd like to call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is the consideration of resolution number 2025-3, filling a vacancy in the office of member of council. Attached, please find resolution 2025-3 to fill a borough council created by the resignation of Joseph Frederick. Borough Council's Personnel Committee met on February 13th, 2025, to interview candidates to fill the vacancy. As a result of the interviews, the Personnel Committee is recommending the appointment of Connor O'Hanlon to Borough Council to complete the term of Joseph Frederick, which expires on December 31st, 2025. If council wishes to follow the recommendation, it can adopt resolution number 2025-3 by motion, and I so move.
Second.
We had a second by Mr. Kinney. Any questions or comments from any members of council?
Just, Mr. President, I just wanted to say that for the vacancy in Ward 3, I think we had 7 candidates that we interviewed, or maybe 8?
6.
Which was a real testament to the energy and the interest in the local government here by citizens in Ward 3, and it was really a pleasure to interview all of the candidates. It was a difficult choice for us to make because everybody brought something to the table that was worthwhile and valuable, and I think happy to have Mr. O'Hanlon on council with us for the remainder of Mr. Frederick's term, but citizens in Ward 3 ought to be really excited about the number of people that came from Ward 3 who are interested in serving on the council. I think it's a real testament to their involvement in the community and much appreciated by me personally.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from council? Any questions or comments from any members of the public? Hearing none, I'd like to call a vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now that we're through that, it's time for swearing in. Mr. O'Hanlon, you want to come up?
Where would you like me, Larry? What? You can have some. Bring some people up. Yeah, my parents can come up.
Oh, are they the ones taking photos of you?
So you got to put your right hand over the pen. and the Constitution. Please repeat after me. I, Connor O'Hanlon,
I, Connor O'Hanlon,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey, and defend
obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Congratulations, Councilor.
Thank you. Yeah. Sign up first.
It's not official till the paperwork's done.
True.
I don't know, in the 20s?
Yep.
Thank you. so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
And Connor, there's just a little bit of the meeting left, but there's a seat for you.
It was adjourned.
I like that, yeah.
You know, I remember the first councilman who was younger than me that got appointed. It was C.T. McElhenney, believe it or not. And now the council person's parents are younger than me. So this is another watershed for me. Ooh, guessing, but
Speak for yourself, Mr. Davis, yeah.
John probably knows.
All right, next on the agenda is the professionals report. Mr. Doherty, do you have anything for us?
Thank you. I have nothing to report tonight.
Solicitor's report.
Thank you, no report this evening.
Okay, Chief, do you have anything for us?
No report tonight, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I do not have a president's report, although I will say, I think this is the first time I've ever had a member of council in my years here who has been accepted at the Air Force Academy. I think, Alyssa, we owe you a congratulatory round of applause. I also hear you have a decision to make. You're waiting on another possible acceptance?
No, not really.
Family pressure, huh?
No, I think my parents would be happy wherever I went, but Air Force has been my dream since probably kindergarten. So
Okay.
that's it. It was a no-brainer to pick this.
For those of you here who weren't here earlier, I think somebody played the Air Force anthem over the loudspeaker, and she was very embarrassed. We won't do it again. I just wanted to bring that up, so. All right,
Sing it if we did.
No.
off we go.
all week.
Any items of old business? Any items of new business?
Mr. President, it's really not new business, but I just wanted to state yesterday, the borough hosted the coldest night of the year event at the Justice Complex, in which citizens from across this community came together to march in support of the homeless population in our county and in this community. I was privileged to be there to give remarks on behalf of the mayor, who was unable to attend. There were close to 300 people who marched, or walked rather, either 5K or 1K. And it was just a really, really inspiring event to see citizens from this community and other communities from outside of Doylestown come to town to support people in our community who are ill-housed or unhoused. It was just a really just a wonderful event. And I wanted to commend everybody who organized it, the Bucks County Opportunity Council, Bucks County Housing Group, YWCA, and others who put that event together. It was really, really something to see and to know, what makes living in this community so grand is that, you have people who will step up and do the things that are necessary to support all citizens in this community. The fundraising goal was $25,000. I understand that they raised over $38,000 to support the homeless community in this region, and it's just a testament to what a wonderful community that we live in. And I just wanted to commend everybody who participated in that and who was a part of it.
Thank you for those words, Mr. Kinney. We didn't have anybody sign up for open public comment.
Don't believe so. Karen, did you see the sheet? No.
Mr. President, I was remiss on two things in my earlier reports. Number one, I just wanted to thank Representative Brennan for giving our preparedness efforts a mention on the floor during budget hearings last week.
Okay.
And also that the Public Works crew probably dropped more salt in the last 4 weeks than they have in the last 4 years.
I've noticed that.
And yeah, so have our cars. But I just wanted to, their usual perfect, excellent work helped the streets of the borough during our multiple snow events.
Okay, thank you. We do not have any executive session tonight. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all.